I don't know how Rachel normally teaches. I think she teaches kind of like pose by pose. How I normally teach is sequencing the poses together so they flow a little bit more seamlessly. But as always, we're going to be taking our time, and there's no pressure to do absolutely everything, so you can take the bits that you feel are going to serve you today and maybe leave everything else behind. And yeah, just feel free to, enjoy yourself, take a little bit breaks here and there. And yes, these blocks will definitely come in handy at some point. Actually, we're going to start with the blocks. So taking one of the flatter blocks. Yes, probably having two. That's okay. Going up. I probably should have said that at the beginning as well. You don't have to use them if you don't want to. We're going to bring one flat block down. There we go. Okay. So now that you have one of your flat blocks, bringing them to the top of the mat, kind of middle of the mat, like 1/3 of the way down, and you're going to come to lie on this block, and it's going to kind of go in between your shoulder blades. So when you're ready to, let's plant the soles of the feet down and towards the mat. We're going to roll down bone by bone, and that block is going to land underneath your shoulder blades. So that what that does is it enables us to lift it through the heart ever so slightly. We let the back of the head rest down towards the ground. So you notice we come into this really subtle arch through the spine. And as you come down here, if it doesn't feel great for you, if it's maybe aggravating the spine in some way, feel free to just take that block out from underneath you and come to lying flat on your back on the mat. Beautiful. Let's just take a few moments to be here. So back to the hands resting by your sides, perhaps the fingertips naturally curling into the center of your palm. You can keep the knees bent, maybe allow the knees to knock together, separate the feet slightly out to the side. Or it might feel okay to stretch the legs out in front of you. But again, you get to decide here. So you get to decide how you'd like to settle into your practice today. And then as we arrive here, just starting to connect to our breath. Noticing every inhale, every exhale. As we breathe in, we might notice that subtle rise, that little lift of the chest as the lungs inflate, the belly rises. And then as we exhale, we can allow ourselves to sink that little bit more down into the mat. So see if we can maybe surrender all of our body weight here, allowing ourselves to be supported by the mat beneath us. And for the next moment or so, allowing ourselves to just be here. Very often we're thinking of the next thing, what we've got coming up next. But here in this moment, we get to just be. So we can start to check in, notice how the body is feeling. Notice any physical sensations moving around within you. Perhaps noticing how we emotionally feel here. Perhaps feeling tired, or maybe we've got a little bit more energy. But whatever you notice here, whatever you feel, again, allow it to just be. So there's no need to perhaps feel a certain way. There's no need to change anything about yourselves here. There's no need to judge ourselves here. Allow yourselves to be exactly as you are. Maybe by allowing ourselves to just be, maybe that helps us relax just that little bit more here. We surrender that little bit more into the mat. And just that little bit more time with the breath here. And maybe you start to deepen the breath, taking slightly longer inhales, slightly longer exhales. Maybe we even count the breath if we feel as though the mind is being pulled in those different directions. Notice how we feel as we gently lift up through this heart space here, this epicenter of love and kindness. Maybe, in fact, we bring one hand to rest above our heart space. Take a moment to again connect with that space of love. Taking a moment to maybe send a little bit of that love to yourself, little moments of gratitude and thanking yourself for arriving at your practice this evening. And it's only after we've sent that little bit of love to ourselves, we then might send a little love out to another person. Friend, family member, partner, or maybe even a stranger. And in sharing that love, again, notice how we feel here. Let's take another deep breath in through the nose. And a soft sigh out through the mouth. You can gently let the hand return back down by your sides. Maybe we start to bend back through the knees, soles the feet flat down to the earth. And then from here, very simply choosing a side, either the left or the right, you're going to roll to that one side, rolling off the block here, and using one hand to take the block out from underneath you. Beautiful. So we gently roll to that one side, taking the block out from underneath us, and then come all the way back onto our backs. Okay. And as you come back onto your back here, notice maybe that little bit of empty space where the block once was. See if we can let the shoulder blades now nestle down in towards the mat. Let's now take the arms out to the side. So almost like we're opening our wings here. So we've got this T shape through the arms. Let's take a deep breath in. As you exhale, bending the knees, so soles the feet flat down towards the mat. And we're going to send the knees down towards the left-hand side. So starting to come into a little spinal twist. Beautiful. Now you can keep the knees staggered here, or maybe you bring that right knee to stack on top of the left. Gradually coming that little bit further into the twist. You might even decide to send that right knee a little bit further over towards the left here. Beautiful. So we let that right hip lift away from the mat, but that right shoulder blade stays down. And again, you come into the twist as far as you'd like to go here. Still seeing if we can let our body weight sink into the mat turn. Let's just stay for one more breath. One more exhale. And then from here, using the inhale to draw the knees all the way back up through the center. Now as we exhale, let's let the knees drop all the way down to the right. Beautiful. So we take that spinal twist on the other side. Okay. Again, maybe we keep the knees slightly staggered, or maybe we stack the left knee on top of the right, or maybe even sending that left knee a little bit further over to the right, taking you slightly deeper into that twist. But again, if it doesn't feel right, don't feel as though you have to go there. Take another deep, nourishing breath in. And a breath out. As we breathe in, let's draw the knees back up through the center. There might be a little sway of the knees from side to side, a little rolling across the base of your spine. Notice how this feels in the hips today. And then choosing a side, either the left or the right. And you're going to roll all the way over to that one side. So you might come to rest as you lie on the side body here, maybe making a little pillow out of the hands for the head to rest on. And then using your hands to help you as we rise all the way back up. Beautiful. So we're going to rise up. We're going to come to a tabletop. So gently as you go, no need to rush here. I'm going to plant the hands down towards the mat and bring the knees underneath our hips here. So coming through into this tabletop. And let's start to really gently move through a couple rounds of cat and cow. So as we inhale, we're going to softly let the belly glide down towards the mat. Looking ahead, lifting up through the head and chest, maybe lifting the tailbone up to the sky, feeling the stretch across the front of the body here. And then as we exhale, we're going to tuck the chin towards the chest, push the ground away, round through the back. So lift the shoulder blades up to the sky and maybe look back towards your knees. And we keep moving through that gentle pace. So as we inhale, we lift up through the head and heart. And as we exhale, we round through the back. Beautiful. So you set the pace here. You decide how slowly you'd like to move through this. Or again, maybe if we've got that a little bit more energy today, maybe we move through this slightly more quickly. Okay. Notice how much range of movement already exists in the spine. Seeing how high we can lift the heart up to the sky, how much we can then round through the back. Lovely, well done. Continuing this process of moving with the breath. Inhale to rise. And exhale. And then just taking one more full round. So one more inhale to rise on up. One more exhale to round through the back. And then as we inhale, coming back into our neutral spine, into our tabletop. And then we're going to start to create the fingertips further towards the top of the mat. Your hips stay over your knees here. Take a breath. Now, as you exhale, you're going to melt the heart down towards the ground into our puppy dog stretch. Now, you may be able to bring the forehead down towards the mat, or maybe you turn the head to one side and bring a cheek down. You could also use a block here and maybe bring the forehead down to the block. So if the ground feels a little bit too far away, the block is a great way to bring the ground up to you. So gently lengthening through the arms, pressing the heart down towards the mat here. Notice the length through both sides of the body. Beautiful. Okay, and again, taking a few moments, just nice and easy with the breath. Feel that little bit of heaviness through the heart space, that gentle pull of gravity. Welcome you in. 2 more breaths here. 1 more inhale. And 1 more exhale. Now as we inhale, let's push down through the hands, start to lift up through the head and heart, walk the hands back underneath you. So again, you come back into this little tabletop. And then from here, we may need to kind of take the block out of the way, walk the knees a little bit further back. And very easily, we're just going to roll the hips all the way down and come to lie on our bellies here. Okay, so softly coming all the way down. And then from here, maybe bring the elbows underneath the shoulders. So we come into our little Sphinx pose. So maybe separating the legs, let the heels roll in, toes point out, hips a little bit heavy here. And let's start to maybe push down through the forearms that little bit more. So as you push the forearms down and towards the mat, there's that little lift up through the heart space, shoulders down and away from those ears. And don't feel as though you necessarily need to look straight ahead. Maybe we actually tuck the chin slightly towards the chest. We look maybe just off the top of our mat here, keeping that little bit of length through the back of the neck here. Beautiful. Take a steady breath in this gentle back bend. And a deep breath out. Taking 1 more inhale. And 1 more exhale. Okay. We're going to send the elbows out towards sides, softly let the heart ripple all the way down towards the mat. Bring the hands underneath your shoulders, and then moments of strength here. We're going to push the ground away to rise up. And then send the hips all the way back towards your heels. You may need to walk the knees in slightly here to come into a little child's pose. So you might want to separate the knees slightly. Big toes come together to touch. You send the hips all the way back towards your heels. And then maybe stretching the fingertips forwards as we come into our child's pose. Now again, letting the forehead meet the mat, or maybe using a block underneath you. Lovely, well done. So it's kind of very similar to our puppy dog pose where we were before, but this time we let the hips go all the way back towards the heels here. Okay. By separating the knees slightly, maybe create a little bit of space for the belly to rest. Letting the belly to move freely here. Yeah, we can take those nourishing breaths in and those nourishing breaths out. Beautiful. Feel free to stay in your child's pose a little bit. Okay, taking one more breath in here. And one more breath out. As we inhale, let's gently start to rise. So we're going to rise back up into that tabletop. Take your time, no need to rush. And bring the shoulders back over the wrists and nestle those knees back underneath the hips. Let's start by sending the right leg to the back of the mat. So you're going to lengthen that right leg all the way back behind you and let it float away from the ground if that feels comfortable. If there's any pressure through this left knee, you could either kind of roll the mat up to give you that little bit more extra padding, or if you've got like a jumper or something and you want to support that knee that little bit more, feel free to do so here, okay? So we've got that right leg extended back behind us, nice long line throughout the entire body here. Take a deep breath. And then as we exhale, we're going to dive this right knee towards the back of this right arm. It doesn't matter if it doesn't quite touch the right arm, but see if we can step the right foot to the outside edge of the right hand. If it doesn't quite get there, maybe taking hold of the ankle and guiding it that little bit further forwards. Bringing the right knee to stack over the top of the right ankle, so you're stacking the bones. And we're going to let the hips drop down towards mat. So nestle the hips down, but keep the heart lifted. And again, we can use the blocks here underneath our hands to lift ourselves up that little bit higher. Beautiful. And that's an option. Don't feel as though you have to do so. Okay. Take a breath. Take an exhale. Find that heaviness through the hips. Lovely. One more breath. And then as we exhale, let's push down through the hands. You're going to lift up out of the hips here and start to send your hips back level with that left knee. Maybe we start to lengthen through this right leg and those right toes lift up to the sky, a little half split stretch. This right leg does not need to lengthen completely here. Maybe in fact, we keep a nice deep bend through the right knee and just lengthen the leg until you start to feel the beginnings of a stretch down the back of that leg here, down through the hamstrings. And in fact, let's move in and out through this stretch. So as we inhale, we're going to sink the hips forwards, lift it through the head and heart. And then as we exhale, we're going to press the hips back, find that length through the spine. Beautiful. Couple more times. Inhale, we come forwards, bend into that right knee. Exhale, send it back. Let's go just once more. Inhale to come forwards. Exhale, gently send it back, and let's pause here in this stretch. So you can walk the hands with the blocks a little bit closer towards you if you need to. And thinking about this length through the spine, so thinking about sending your sit bones to the back of the room, crown of the head reaching forwards. So rather than necessarily kind of rounding through the back, let's send energy out through the crown of the head and find that length as fast as we can. Beautiful, really well done. Take a deep breath. Take an exhale. One more inhale. And then as we exhale, let's start to bend back into that right knee. We can shimmy the blocks further forwards. And again, a moment here to let the hips drop down, heart rises. And then drawing kind of a half circle with these right toes. So you're going to draw a circle, send the right leg all the way back behind you, and let it cross over towards the left. So keeping that right leg extended, like making sure wrists are still underneath the shoulders here, and still pushing the ground away. So rather than just kind of relaxing into our joints here and letting our bones just keeping us lifted, let's engage through the muscles as well. So we push the ground away, we knit the rib cage together, and then from here, maybe looking past your left shoulder to look towards that back right heel. And we feel that stretch through the right side body here. Beautiful. Take a breath. Take an exhale. One more inhale. One more exhale. As we inhale, let's gently come all the way back through. Look directly in between the hands. Send that right leg directly back behind you, and then fold the right knee in next to left. Changing over onto the other side. So we start to extend the left leg back behind us and let it float away from the ground. Beautiful. Nice long line throughout the entire body here. Deep breath in. Exhale, dive that left knee in towards the back of that left arm. Maybe it meets it, and see if we can softly step that left foot to the outside edge of that left hand. And again, if it doesn't quite get there, if it's maybe halfway down the mat, take hold of the ankle and give it that little help forwards. Okay. And then creating space to let the hips drop down and keep the heart lifted. So we find this heaviness here. Beautiful. And you've got the hands to the inside of that left leg, maybe feeling that stretch within the hip space here. Beautiful. Take a deep breath. And take an exhale. One more inhale. One more exhale. We're going to push down through the hands, lift up out of the hips. Start to send your hips level with the right knee and starting to lengthen that left leg and maybe take those left toes up to the sky. Bring the blocks a little bit closer towards you if needs be, or walk the hands in. And again, only going as far as you start to feel the beginnings of that stretch. And let's move through that process of rocking forwards and back each time. So as we inhale, we sink back into that left knee, let the hips drop down, heart rises. And then as we exhale, lengthen the left leg. Beautiful. Couple more times. Marry the movement to your breath. Inhale, sink it forward. Exhale, gently send it back. Lovely. Let's go once more. Inhale, reaching forward. Exhale, gently sinking back. And then from here, holding here. So again, lifting those left toes up to the sky as much as they wish, or if it feels better to keep the toes down, again, feel free to do so. See if you can find the stretch down the back of that left leg. And also find the length through the spine. So again, send the sit bones to the back of the room, crown of the head reaching forwards. Beautiful. Take a breath. Take an exhale. One more here, deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Let's start to sink back into that left knee, sink the hips down. And then from here, planting the hands firmly down to the ground or to the blocks here. Drawing that half circle with the left toe. So you're going to sweep the left leg all the way around, crossing it back behind you over to the right. And again, tucking the toes. So you're on the ball of that left foot here. Feel free to pad that right knee out if it needs that little bit extra cushioning here. Draw the ribs in, push the ground away, and then start to look past your right shoulder towards that left heel if we can. And we send the breath to the left side body. So every time we take that deep breath in, notice the expansion through the rib cage, maybe feeling into that stretch a little bit more. Beautiful. One more breath in. One more breath out. As we inhale, coming back through the center, look directly down in between the hands. Send the left leg directly back behind you and fold that left knee in and next to the right. Beautiful. If you're using blocks, let's place them to one side for now, making sure they're still nearby in case we decide to use them again. And then gently coming back into our downward facing dog. So this is our strong movements here. So actively pushing down through the fingertips, tucking all 10 toes under. Take a deep breath. Exhale, start to send your hips back towards the heels and then push the ground away. Send the hips up to the sky. Downward facing dog. And we can welcome little bits of movements in here. So there might be a little bend through the knees maybe. So in fact, let's not worry about the legs being straight and the heels meeting that. Let's keep that deep bend through the knees. And imagine you're trying to squish your belly up against your thighs. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. From here, you're going to deeply bend through the knees as you begin to walk your hands back towards your feet. So walking the hands all the way back towards your feet, you gradually come into a standing forward fold at the back of the mat. And let the upper body be super heavy here. So if that was a little bit strong for the shoulders or for the wrists, feel free to give the wrists a little shake, the shoulders a little shimmy. Let the back of the neck release so the head hangs heavy here. Maybe we even have this little sway from side to side. Lovely, well done. Okay, take a breath. And take an exhale. Nice deep bend through the knees. Let's start to roll up through the spine. Take your time. So we're gradually going to bring ourselves all the way up to standing. Push the feet down into the earth, stacking up bone by bone. And then we gently let the head rise, and let's take a nice big shoulder roll. Inhale, we lift the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, we softly send them down and wide. Beautiful. So especially as we move through that roll up there, really ensuring we're taking our time and not rushing through that movement, especially if we easily get quite dizzy. We want to take as much time as we can to rise up to standing. And then from here, let's take a deep breath in. You're going to sweep the arms all the way up, grow tall. Energy out through the fingertips. Maybe you look up here. And then as we exhale, we're going to open across the heart space, open the arms out to the side, send the hips back, heart forward, swan dive all the way back into that forward fold. And you let the arms come down to wherever they land. So maybe the fingertips land upon the shins, the ankles, they might meet the ground. Let's not worry about that too much. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. As we inhale, let's rise up to a halfway lift. So we're going to bring our fingertips to our shins. Bring the torso about parallel down to the ground. So again, sit bones, send into the back of the room. Crown of the head reaching forward. Find that length through the spine. Exhale, release back into that fold. Bend the knees so much so that the hands can connect back towards the mat. And we walk the hands out in front, back into our downward facing dog. The hips go high here. So we're going to warm up the body that little bit more, finding that little bit of heat. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. As you inhale, lift high up onto the balls of the feet, lift the hips even higher, and start to wave the body forwards to come into a little plank pose. Now, if we know this is a little bit too strong for us today, feel free to drop the knees, okay, and come into a modified plank, or you can keep them lifted. Whichever you decide is absolutely fine, okay? Wherever you are, take a breath. Take an exhale. And then we push the ground away. We're going to lift the knees, lift the hips, wave it back to your downward facing dog. So we find that upside down V shape. Take a deep breath in here. Deep breath out. Bend the knees, gently start to walk your hands back towards your feet again. And we're back in that standing forward fold at the back of the mat. So let's again find that heaviness here. Let the upper body just simply drape over the legs. And take a breath in and a breath out. From here, deep bend through the knees. We take our time as we roll up through the spine. No need to rush. We have all the time in the world. You're actually coming up to standing at your own pace, and then as you arrive, head is the final thing to lift. We again take that nice big shoulder roll. Inhale, lift them up. Exhale, squeeze them back and down. And we're going to move through that flow twice more. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Grow, grow, grow. Now as you exhale, hips go back, heart dives forward, swan dive. Beautiful, almost like you're diving into this peaceful pool beneath your feet. Coming back into that forward fold. And then as we inhale, we've got that halfway lift. So fingertips rise up towards our shins. Find that flat back. Crown of the head forwards, tailbone back. Exhale, release it back into that fold. Let's bend the knees so much so that the hands can come back down, and we walk them out in front. Downward facing dog, hips go high. Well done. Take an inhale. Take an exhale. As we inhale, lift high up onto the balls of the feet. We start to wave the body forward into our plank pose. So we find that nice long line throughout the body. And then from here, we can decide to drop the knees if we wish. Wherever you are, deep breath in. Deep breath out. From here, we push the ground away, lift the knees, lift the hips, wave it back, downward facing dog. Breath in. Breath out. And bend in the knees, start to walk your hands back towards your feet. Really well done. Back into that forward fold. Take a breath. Take an exhale. Let's inhale to bend the knees and roll up through the spine. Taking our time, finding all those little stretches as we rise up here. And again, head is the final thing to lift. Take that nice big shoulder roll. Exhale. Well done. One final time through this. Inhale to sweep on up. Exhale, swan dive down. Beautiful. Open the heart space as you go. Melt it into that fold. Inhale, halfway lift, fingertips to your shins, rise up, flat back. Exhale, release back into the fold. We bend the knees and we start to walk the hands out in front, downward facing dog. Hips high to the sky. Take a breath. Take an exhale. Inhale, wave the body forwards into your plank pose. Maybe we need to shimmy the feet back slightly. Find that nice long line. And again, option is always there to drop the knees. Take a breath. Exhale. Inhale, let's wave it back to our downward facing dog. And we're gonna hold here. Beautiful. Let's see if we can be here for about 2 breaths. Again, steady breath in. Steady breath out. One more deep breath in. Deep breath out. Now from our downward facing dog, let's see if we can keep the left foot planted and maybe send that right leg up to the sky. Now if this again feels like a little bit too strong, feel free to drop the left knee and come back to what we did before and just lifting the right leg back behind you. Or maybe working that a little bit stronger, taking that right leg up to the sky, take a breath. Exhale, right knee starts to dive towards the back of that right arm, very similar to what we did before, and see if we can softly step right foot to the outside edge of that right hand. If again, the foot lands too far away, let's lower the knee, take hold of the ankle and guide it that little bit further forward. So we can give that leg a little bit of assistance. Once you've landed that foot, feel free to drop the knee all the way down towards the mat. Okay. Maybe we find our blocks again here. Underneath the hands, bring the ground that a little bit close up to you. Let the hips sink down towards the mat. So back into that lizard lunge. Take a breath. Take an exhale. And then from here, let's keep the left hand rooted down either to the block or to the mat. Let's start to roll the right shoulder back and you're going to reach that right arm up to the sky. So start to spiral the heart round here. Beautiful. Take a breath. Now, as you exhale, let's bend into that right elbow and see if we can tap this right elbow down towards the mat or to the block. If it doesn't quite reach, it does not matter. Tap it down. And then inhale, we unravel. We take that right arm straight back up to the sky. Let's go again. Exhale, bend through that right elbow. See if we can tap it down. Well done. Inhale, unravel. Reach it all the way up. One more time, exhale, tapping that right elbow down. Inhale, rise back up and replace that right hand back down towards the mat. Beautiful. And then from here, you might need to wriggle right foot back onto the mat here and think about pressing this right knee into the back of this right arm. We're going to go the other way. So this time, seeing if we can peel the left shoulder back and now send the left arm up to the sky. Beautiful. Again, blocks are going to help to bring the ground up to you, but if you need that little bit more height, you could also bring forearm to thigh. So lifting yourself up that little bit higher. Yes, well done. Take a breath. Take an exhale. Still letting the hips glide forward and down here if we can. One more inhale. One more exhale. Now from here, keep the left fingertips reaching up to the sky. You're now going to start to maybe lengthen through this right leg. Maybe that right hand comes towards the right shin. We might start to lift those right toes up to the sky. So it's very similar to a Trikonasana when we're in standing, but this is just a little bit lower down to the ground. Keep a little bit of softness through that right knee. Roll the left shoulder back and see if you can spin the heart up to the sky. Really well done. Take a breath. Take an exhale. Beautiful. Bend back into that right knee. Maybe the right hand touches down towards the block or the mat. And then imagine something's pulling you up by these left fingertips. We're going to rise all the way up. Now the right fingertips are reaching forwards. Left fingertips are reaching back, almost like we're in a warrior two. Take a breath. Take an exhale. Lovely. We're going to flip that right palm up to the sky. Bring the left hand either to your low spine or it might come to the back of the left thigh here. We're going to start to sweep up through these right fingertips, looking up towards the sky here. Beautiful. Lifting up through that heart space. If it feels okay to look up here, maybe we do. Or if it feels a little bit clunky for the back of the neck, maybe we just kind of gaze forwards and up here. Lovely. Take another breath in. And a breath out. From here, we're going to start to cartwheel the arms all the way down. So the right hand lands first, left hand comes up and over, and it follows. Beautiful. And then from here, we're going to tuck the left toes under. You're going to lift that left knee back off the mat. And as you do so, hop it in a tad. So you're already taking the hips to the sky. And then from here, very simply push the ground away, step the right foot back next to left, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Okay. You can have a little wiggle through the hips here if you need to, bending in one knee, then the other. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And then from here, bend the knees and start to walk your hands back towards your feet. Very similar to what we did before, just to off for a moment to take the pressure off the wrists here. So again, feel free to rotate through the wrist a couple of times, wriggle through the fingertips, shimmy the shoulders, full breath in, full breath out. And then we inhale, bend through the knees, we roll up through the spine again. Stacking up bone by bone, growing taller each time. Inhale, head rises, take the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, send them down and away. Beautiful. From here, inhale, we grow tall. Exhale, swan dive. Final swan dive of our practice. Let's dive it all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, fingertips to our shins, rise up, flat back. Exhale, release back into that fold. And we bend the knees, start to walk the hands all the way back out in front, back to your downward facing dog. Beautiful. Let's go high to the sky. Full breath in. Full breath out. Now this time, repeating on the other side, so we keep the right foot grounded. Let's see if we can start to take the left leg into the sky. Doesn't matter how high the left leg lifts here, just take it as high as it wants to go. And then as we exhale, left knee dives in towards the chest. Look forward and see if we can softly step that left foot to the outside edge of that left hand. And again, feel free to give it that little bit of guidance. Let's carefully lower that back knee so we come back into that lizard lunge. Beautiful. Okay. Hips go heavy, heart stays lifted. Let's take a full breath in. And a full breath out. From here, let's keep the right hand grounded, start to roll the left shoulder back, reach the left arm up to the sky. Beautiful, take a breath. As we exhale, bend into the left elbow and see if we can tap the left elbow now down towards the ground, little tiny tap. And then inhale to unravel and reach it all the way back up. Beautiful, exhale, we go again. See if we can tap the elbow. Inhale to unravel. Exhale, final time, tap the elbow. And then inhale, little rise, bring that left hand back down towards the ground or to the block. Maybe wriggling, left foot a little bit closer back onto the mat. So this left knee presses into the back of the left arm. We're gonna go the other way. We start to roll the right shoulder back and reach the right arm up to the sky. Hips are heavy down towards the ground. So again, if we need that little bit of height, maybe we bring forearm to the thigh, letting the hips glide forwards and down. Beautiful. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Let's have one more here. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And then from here, you're going to start to push down through the left foot. See if we can maybe lengthen that left leg. Maybe left hand comes to the left shin. Maybe you lift those left toes. Keep rolling the right shoulder back, reaching the right fingertips up. So you keep spiraling the heart round to the right hand side. Well done. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more. Exhale, we gently bend back into that left knee, left hand lands down towards the ground. Imagine something's pulling you up by your right fingertips. We rise all the way up here. Beautiful. Little kind of modified warrior two. So you got the left fingertips reaching forwards, right fingertips reaching back. We flip the left palm up to the sky. Right hand either to your lower spine or to the back of the right thighs. You reach up through the left fingertips and look up to the sky here. Beautiful. Okay, steady breath in. Steady breath out. One more inhale. One more exhale. And then from here, we cartwheel the arms down. So the left hand starts to lead. Right arm comes up and over to follow. Beautiful. And then from here, you're going to tuck the right toes under to lift the back knee. Maybe hop the right foot in slightly to lift the hips up a little bit higher. And you're going to step the left foot all the way back next to right for your downward facing dog. Beautiful. Being here for a couple of breaths, maybe 3 breaths in this pose. So keep lifting the hips high to the sky. Push down through all 10 fingertips. Well done. Maybe keep that little bend through the knees. Okay. And then finally taking one more deep breath in. One more deep breath out. And then ever so gently, we're going to let the knees drop all the way down towards the mat. Coming back through a little tabletop. Let's separate the knees again here. Big toes come together to touch. You can move any blocks out of the way here. Send your hips back towards the heels. We're going to come back into that little child's pose. So again, you can reach the fingertips out in front, maybe the forehead, gently rest down towards the ground. Or maybe you can stack one fist on top of the other, use that as a little platform for the forehead to rest on. Beautiful. Take a moment as you arrive here. Again, notice how we feel physically in the body, how we feel emotionally here maybe. And no matter what we experience here in this moment, know that it was exactly meant to be. Spend a few more moments with the breath here. As you breathe here in your child's pose, maybe noticing that little rise and fall of the back body. So as we inhale, the lungs inflate, rib cage expands, back body lifts ever so slightly. And then as we exhale, we soften all the way back down. There's almost like that literal sigh of relief here as we let go and soften. Let's take 2 final breaths here. One more inhale. One more exhale. And then from here on your next inhale, let's start to push down through the hands. You're going to rise all the way back up, lift up through the head and hands. And then you might need to lift the hip to walk the knees that little bit further forward so we can swing the ankles round to one side and use the hands to help you as you bring the sit bones all the way down. We're going to extend the legs all the way out in front. Okay, so coming down onto our sit bones. And as we extend the legs out in front, maybe we give them just a little shake. Shake off the toes, shake off the ankles, shake off the thighs. Beautiful. As much of a shake as you want to give them, releasing all through those muscles, almost like you're giving the legs a little massage here as well. Or you could pat them. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Okay. And then from here, let's help the knees to again bend, and let's keep the soles of feet flat down towards the mat. You don't have to bring the feet all the way in here. Keep a little bit of distance. And maybe you separate the feet slightly, and you're going to maybe wrap the arms underneath the legs here. So you might kind of take hold of the opposite wrists underneath you. Let's take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, you're going to tuck the chin towards the chest. And almost like you want to rock back off your sit bones slightly and round through the back. Beautiful. Take a breath. Take an exhale. One more inhale. One more exhale. Now keeping the hands wrapped underneath the legs here, you're going to start to slowly slide the feet out in front, but keeping the belly squished up against your thighs. And just go as far as you want to go. If you start to notice the knees slide away from the belly here and you rise up slightly, maybe again we walk the feet in and we find that connection. So that doesn't mean we have to go all the way. We just go to a place we feel comfortable. So gradually coming into a forward fold. And if it feels better to take the hands out from underneath the legs and come into kind of a normal seated forward fold, feel free to do so. Beautiful, well done. Okay. Let's find that little bit of heaviness through the head. Let the back of the neck soften. You can let the shoulders round forward slightly here. Lovely, well done. Be here for a few more rounds of breath. Feel the stretch through the back of the legs, across the lower spine maybe. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more inhale. One more exhale. As we inhale, we're going to softly roll up through the spine. If you have the hands still wrapped around underneath the legs, feel free to gently take them out from underneath you now. Come all the way back up to sitting nice and tall. And then let's bring them towards the left knee first of all. So taking the hands to the left knee, draw that knee into the chest. You can wrap the arms around the shin or the back of the thighs. You give that knee a little hug, a little sway from side to side. And then gently seeing if we can maybe cross this left leg over the right. Okay, you're going to keep that knee pointing up to the sky as best as you can. If this left foot doesn't quite meet the mat, again, block comes in handy, and you bring the foot down to the block here rather than it kind of hovering through space. You've got that little bit of support. And then from here, you're going to bring left fingertips back behind you. This just acts as a little support for the spine. So we don't lean into the hand too much. It's just resting there. Let's reach up through the right fingertips, grow tall, take a deep breath. As we exhale, maybe we hook this right elbow to the outside edge of the left knee. And again, if that doesn't feel good, maybe we just opt to hug the thigh into the chest. Softly spiraling around into this twist. Spine stays nice and tall here. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. One more deep breath in. Deep breath out. Okay, as we inhale, let's gently unravel. You're going to bring your hands all the way around with you to the right hand side. Place the hands down to the right hand side. Just dip the chin and chest down for a moment. Little counter twist here. And then we can inhale to rise all the way back up. Wrap the arms around that left shin again. Gently hug it back into the chest. And then you can gently send that left leg away. Let's come onto the other side. So hands to the right knee. Draw it on in. Wrap the arms around, give it a little hug, a little shimmy, a little shake. Okay. And then crossing the right foot up and over the left leg. And again, if that right foot, doesn't quite meet the mat, we can use a block here to give it that little bit of support. So again, it's always nice to just have that little extra connection there. And then from here, right fingertips now come back behind you. Just try not to lean into the hand too much. It's just that little kickstand for the spine. Inhale, left fingertips reach up to the sky. And as we exhale, maybe hook that left elbow to the outside of the right knee, or maybe we stop to hug the thigh into the chest. Beautiful, spiraling the heart round to the right. And you might be quite happy gazing out towards the right hand side, or you may want to look all the way back behind you here, your choice. Okay. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. One more here, deep breath in, deep breath out. And then as we inhale, we start to unravel, take the arms with you as you go. This time the hands come down to the left-hand side, dip the chin and chest down for that little counter twist. And then we can inhale to rise all the way back up, well done. Wrap the arms around that right shin, gently hug it back in. And then let's bend in both knees now, so soles, feet flat down to the ground. We're going to come all the way down to lying on our back. So we're going to gradually come into our relaxation. If you know you like to put on extra layers for your relaxation, yeah, cozy blankets, fluffy socks, feel free to do so. But if we're ready to go, we're going to roll down through the spine, gently coming onto our backs. Okay. And as you land here, let the whole spine meet the mat here. Let the back of the head soften down into the ground, shoulder blades nestle underneath you. Take a moment to perhaps set the scene for your Shavasana, decide how we'd like to rest here today. So maybe that's with the knees bent, or perhaps we extend the legs to the bottom two corners of the mat. Beautiful. Take your time as you simply allow the body to unfold here. If it feels okay to do so, closing off the eyes, closing off the outside world. And as you close off the outside world, perhaps starting to draw our awareness into our internal world. This whole realm that exists within each and every one of us. And again, what do we find here? You can check in, see how we physically feel in the body. See how we feel emotionally here, maybe. And over time, seeing if you allow yourself to deeply and truly rest. So not only is the body physically relaxing here, not only are the muscles starting to let go, but as we start to sink into this softness, maybe the mind can also rest here, finding that little sense of peace, calm, quiet. And for the next few moments, there's nowhere else we need to do, nowhere else we need to be, nothing else we need to do, apart from simply exist here in this moment. No need to rush. We can take our time. Very rarely do we get given the chance to simply breathe and be. So know that it's okay to indulge in these few moments. And as you rest, perhaps quietly observing the rise and fall of the belly as you simply breathe. Perhaps we feel the soft beating of our hearts within the chest. Maybe even feeling the gentle hum of the earth beneath you. And perhaps that acts as that little reminder that even though we all live our own individual lives, we're still in a small but significant way connected here. We all exist as part of this beautiful universe. We're so blessed to be a part of. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And softly sigh out through the mouth. And again, deep breath in through the nose. Softly sigh out through the mouth. And final time, deep breath in. And a deep breath out. In your own time, welcoming little bits of movement back into the body. Wriggling through fingertips, toes. Perhaps rotating the wrists or the ankles. Allow this movement to build at a pace that feels comfortable to you. So maybe that's reaching the arms up and above behind the head. Take a nice big stretch along the mat here, maybe. Or perhaps you draw the knees into the chest, whatever you feel is best for you here. And then when you are ready, choosing a side, either the left or the right. And again, we simply roll to that one side. You can pause there for a moment as you lie on that side. And then use your hands to help you as you rise all the way up, finding a comfortable seat. Beautiful. So gently nestling the sit bones down in towards the mat. Sit up nice and tall. Let the shoulders gently slide down and away from those ears. Let's bring the palms of the hands to rest on top of the knees here. And again, we close the eyes just for a moment. And I always like to seal our practices with a little blessing. May the sun bring you new energy by day. May the moon softly restore you at night. May the rain wash away your worries. And may the breeze blow new strength throughout your being. May you walk through the world knowing its beauty all the days of your life. And with that, we bring the palms of the hands together in front of the heart. And we bow. Namaste.